Hey folks, leave everyone again. Oh, we're on? Okay, let's see, it's recording. Yeah, last time I did my review video, the camera was acting weird. Oh, my computer. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed my review of Spider-Man No Way Home. That is on my channel right now. You go check it out. Remember, guys, it's Levi McNally 983. I know it's been a couple of days, guys. It's only been 4 days since you guys see me. It was Monday when I did a review. But this movie I couldn't review because it's a bit long, and due to my work hours, I was not able to watch the movie. But good news, guys. Maybe this week, hopefully, I will be able to do more movie reviews, superhero reviews and stuff. Anyway, remember my channel is Levi McNally. Levi McNally. God damn it, Levi McNally 983 with a mass profile picture. And when you thank you guys for the 276 subs. Thank you. We're getting close to 300. We're getting there, guys. Remember, when you subscribe to my channel, remember push the little bell. You'll get notified when I upload videos and and community posts as well. Whether it's like a life update or when it's like the next video review or whatever video I do in the future, you'll know. Uh, yeah, and also to support my channel, you guys can also share my videos on your Facebook page or Facebook story. I just appreciate the support, guys. Yes, and as you guys know, if you're watching my channel or if you're not, welcome. My name is Levi McNally. Channel I've been here on YouTube for like 12 years, but this is my new channel. My other one I lost the account, so I had to create this new one. But I feel like this one was better. Hopefully the audio was really good and the quality is a lot better. Quality in those videos were not good at all, but maybe I can revisit revisit reviews I did on that channel under this one. So updated thoughts. Yeah, I've given some thoughts to that, but that's all for future stuff, future videos someday. Anyway, what I've been doing, guys, is a superhero marathon on my YouTube channel. I've been doing what I call the 2020s era superhero reviews. I've been reviewing superhero movies that have come out in this decade we're living now, the year 2020s, which we've been living in this decade now. And yeah, and I've been on the year. I just finished with the year 2021, and now I'm starting with the year 2022. Like I said, my last review, Spider-Man No Way Home, that was December, so that was my last review. I was gonna review Catwoman Hunted, but unfortunately, I can't buy it on Prime Video. I couldn't buy it on Amazon because it's in different regions. That means it's in different countries. And if I bought it, I've been wasting. It costs like maybe $17. So $18. Think about it for shipping and stuff. It would cost maybe $20. And so I've been spending $20 putting in my Blu-ray, and it wouldn't work. So I've been wasting money. So I'm sorry. Maybe someday I can review that movie. If I can find it on DVD or Blu-ray one day, definitely for a future review. But I'm sorry, not now. I'm sorry, folks. I also forgot to mention I was also planning to view the new Hellboy movie. Hellboy what is it called? The Crooked Man. If I can, maybe. If I can find it. If I can't, then sorry, folks. I forgot to mention that movie, by the way, but I heard that was not a good film. Anyway, so yes, I'm now starting with the year 2022. This movie came out in March, and I was really surprised by this movie. It wasn't perfect, but I love this film. This film was really good. But there are problems with it. I'm not going to sit here and say it's amazing, but that is, to me, that is the Batman. Yes, directed by Matt Reeves and starring Robert Pattinson, who I thought really did a good job. Now, when this movie first came out, I kind of didn't mind the posters of the Batsuit. The Batsuit does look cool in this movie, I think. I remember seeing the posters of Robert Patterson and the trailer didn't impress me. I was like, oh, this is going to be, because I hated the Dark Knight Rises. I saw that in theaters, and I was like, I'm just going to, yeah, and Twilight Boy's going to serve as Batman. But he really surprised me. He did a really good job. And so did the rest of the cast here. But this film, like I said, it does have problems. Like, the film is way too long, I think. But we'll get more into that later. This is the Blu-ray version of the movie, a 4K. Well, I don't have it on 4K, but I do have it on Blu-ray. But you do get over 2 hours of special features like Vengeance in the Making, documentary about making the film with the cast and crew, deleted scenes, the car chase. They talk about creating the new Batmobile, and talk about the Riddler, talk about Catwoman, talk about the Penguin as well. Yeah. So let's see. Yep. Film 4K. Well, not just 4K, but like this is a Blu-ray. That's why I got it. This is the 4K, which I can't watch on because I don't have a 4K player. And the film is also this is the Blu-ray, and these are the special features only on that disc. So let me get into talking about the movie itself. For the production is that development are working intentional plans from Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck was cast in August 2013 to portray the character Bruce Wayne Batman in multi films since the DCU, starting with Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice when he made his debut. And I do wish that Ben Affleck, again, I like him as Batman. I wish he would have been able to do his own movie, but that unfortunately would not happen probably, which sucks. I do think he deserves a second chance. Before appearing in Suicide Squad and Justice League, in October 2014, Warner Brothers revealed plans for a standalone Batman film starring Affleck, which I think he was going to go up against Deathstroke, but that never happened. I remember plans about hearing for that. And he was in negotiations to direct and co-write the screenplay with Jeff Jones by July 2015. And production was expected to begin after Affleck finished work on Live by Night. Affleck and Jones finished the first draft on the March 2016, set after the events of Batman vs Superman and Justice League. The script told an original story, inspired by comic book elements, and approach that Affleck compared to director Zack Snyder's Batman vs Superman story, with influence on Arkham Asylum, a series on House on Series Earth, Nightfall, which are comic books, and the video game Batman Arkham Asylum from 2009. Robert Richardson, cinematographer, who's a cinematographer for movies, who was cast in early development, confirmed that the script was fully set in Arkham Asylum, featuring Slade Wilson, Deathstroke. I was right, orchestrating a breakout guitar Batman and make him vulnerable, fighting him in the streets of Gotham during the climax. Batgirl was planning to appear and help Batman. Jones said that the film would also explore the death of Robin, which ended in the Batman vs Superman. Warner Brothers CEO Kevin, well, without Robin, probably meaning Jason Todd, Kevin Tanash confirmed a CinemaCon in April 2016 that Affleck would direct the film. Jeremy Irons said he would respire his role as Alfred Pennyworth. Joe Malengo was cast as Deathstroke in September. We saw him at the end of Justice League 2017. I'm the Zack Snyder's Justice League director's cut that came out March 2021 on HBO Max. Manglo explained that Deathstroke believed Batman was responsible for his son's death. It was depicted as severely dismantling Batman's life and killing those close to him like a movie villain. Compared the story to David Fincher's The Game, Snyder enjoyed the story and filmed a scene at the end of Justice League featuring Lex Luthor, Jesse Eisenberg revealing Batman's secret identity to Deathstroke. 2 episodes of the film. Affleck revealed the title was The Batman in October and December. Filming was on track to begin in mid 2017 and 2018 release. That month, the planned Justice League was delayed. Chris Terrio turned down and rewrote the script in January. Affleck began to have reservations about directing the film. Announced in January 2017 that he was stepping down as director, but still planned to star and produce. He did say he had stepped down and focused more on starring as Batman. He said that he had been unable to get the script when he needed it and felt it was a time for someone else to have a shot at it. Affleck later added that he did not think he would have enjoyed directing the film and felt it would directing someone should be directed by someone who will love working on it. At the time, Warner Brothers was reevaluating its approach to superhero films following the release of Batman vs Superman, said that Affleck's film being sidelined. The Justice League scene was altered in post-production to tease the Injustice League sequel instead of District from the Batman. Though the original was devoted. So redevelopment, you had Matt Reeves, for all considered as placements for Affleck as director. Matt Reeves was called on by Warner Brothers. He said in an interview, because like I said, you do have interviews with the cast. He's finishing up the Planet of the Apes movie, War Planet of the Apes. He's working on it at the time. He got contacted by somebody, I forget the name, his writer, who said Warner Brothers would like to meet with you, Matt. Would you like be interested? And they talked about Batman, and I think he caught on to it and he got interested. Anyway, let me read here. The Reeves, he's been a long time Batman fan. He says in the in his interview, he did say that. Currently, at the top of the short list and entered negotiations after meeting with Warner Brothers on February 10th, 2017. They sent Reeves a copy of the script, but Reeves felt that Affleck's take, totally valid, was not the film he wanted to make. Reeves only wanted to join if he was guaranteed creative control. And Warner Brothers Pictures, Toby Emerge, who wanted an alternative to make the next Batman film, wasn't impressed by his ideas. An issue with this allegation arose, but was quickly overcome. And then Reeves was hired to direct the Batman on February 23rd. He was also set to produce the film with Dylan Clark. Reeves was not willing to share his full vision with the studio while he was working on War of the Planet of the Apes at the time. Finish up he started with his reboots in 2011. Dawn was 2014, that was 2017, Agreed to delay production until he was available. Reeves began working on, so he's still working on War of the Planet of the Apes. Reeves began working on the script in March 2017, intentionally planning to keep the Batman's connection to the DCU and spoke with Affleck during the writing process, but soon reworked the story to focus on Batman early in his vigilante career, with plans to cast a younger actor to play Batman. He was planning to replace Affleck by July 2017. In August 2018, Affleck went to rehabilitation for alcohol abuse. It was considered unlikely that he would restart his role in the film after that. At the time, Reeves said the script was nearing completion, and he hoped to finish it within a couple of weeks. He was aiming to begin production early mid 2019. Reeves submitted that the first draft to Warner Brothers the following month. Matt Thompson and Peter Craig also contributed to the script. The only reason Craig received credit. Tillman used some of the ideas they did for the Batman, like in the comic book limited series, Batman the Imposter, in January 2019. Warner Brothers scheduled a release date for January 25th, 2021 for the Batman. Affleck confirmed that he was no longer starring. Affleck explained that he stepped down due to factors like including his divorce from Jennifer Gardner, the horrible production of Justice League, his lack of enjoyment in the role at the point, and his alcohol problems. Which they do play in the movie, well, before this one came out, the movie called The Way Back. If you've ever seen that, it's a real good film. I think that movie kind of exploited some of Ben Affleck's issues, which I don't know. I wasn't on set, but I know he's married to Jennifer Garner. He met her actually on a superhero movie that was a Daredevil back in 2003, so he's married to her for quite a while. I heard he also married Jennifer Garner, Jennifer Lopez, and he divorced her or something like that. I don't know. Affleck said that he had particularly sourced his interest in the role since his divorce, traveling and community agendas as well as the death of Snyder's daughter and the extended reshoots for the film. Affleck recalled that he had shown a version of the Batman script to a friend who said, "I think the script's good. I was thinking you'll drink yourself to death if you go through it. You went through on Justice League." When Reeves decided to focus on Batman early in his vigilante career, he began writing a new script from scratch. So it was like a reboot of the franchise for Batman. Affleck's script had to take in which this movie is an action-driven approach similar to James Bond franchise, but Reeves wanted a more narrative that would rock Batman to his core. He wanted to explore how the Batman myths could exist in the real world, and chose that the film during the second year of Batman's. So this is movie's a younger Batman, of course. His second year being Bruce Wayne's second year being Batman. Then they don't retell the origin story like in Batman Begins, but there is no origin story in this film, as he wanted to take it to be different from previous Batman films. He felt the film was more about someone who's had to quit and figure out what they're doing, the things they were doing, and wanted to focus on Batman's emotional arc. You see him go through tremendous trauma, and then Marshall will find a way through. Reeves originally intended for his version of the Batman to be set in the DCU, but eventually decided that this would distract from Batman's character arc, and that's Warner Bros. For the creative freedom to move outside the shared universe. Reeves wanted to be able to create a version of Batman with a personal aspect, and he should not obligated to connect it to the DCU. So, they let him do his own movie. Reeves knew early on the film would draw from Batman Long Halloween and his sequel, Dark Victory, featuring Batman hunting a serial killer who would reveal the corruption between the people and were legitimate pillars in the city and the criminal element in the city. Kurt Cobain and Zodiac Killer, they were inspired for the Riddler. Yeah. He decided to use the Riddler after noticing parallels between the character and the Zodiac Killer, a costume serial killer who operated in California in the 1960s, while reading Mindhunter. Reeves imagined that Batman's investigation would have him encounter other figures from the comic book methods, like Catwoman the Penguin, Carmine Falcone. However, Reeves sought out to ensure that Batman's remained story focused, trying to include him in every scene. Reeves reread his favorite Batman comics, but did not base the film on a specific one, like Year One by Frank Miller and David McCusk. I can't say the name right. Some of the comics he read too. Reeves drew from the description of a young and experienced Batman in Year One. Catwoman's relationship to Falcone, Long Halloween, and Dark Victory. The exploitation of Batman's psychology and his transition from exacting vengeance to spreading hope and ego, and the Riddler's plot to flood Gotham in Zero Year. Other elements such as Alfred's characterization, Thomas Wayne, Mayor of Gotham, Martha Wayne being part of the Arkham family, came from the comic Batman Year One, Earth One. While the theme of vengeance was inspired by Kevin Conroy's "I Am Vengeance," I Am the Night speech from Batman the animated series in the episode Nothing to Fear, you know, whereas the first time you see Scarecrow in that show. The film also features reference to No Man's Land and Hush. Portraying Bruce Wayne, Reeves wanted to depart from the traditional playboy and socialite because he was listening to the something in the way as he wrote the song. Wrote the first act, he decided to base Bruce on Nova frontman Kurt Cobain. It's inspiration from the film's last days, which features a version of Cobain living in decaying manner. The Godfather character Michael Corleone influenced Reeves' take on Bruce. Reeves started out to make Batman relatable, but honoring what people love about him. Sherman as Batman, he's still trying to figure out how to do this, how to be active, effective, and he's not necessarily succeeding. He's broken and driven, although it does not spit his origin, in which he witnesses the murder of parents. The Batman still explores the emotional cost that it has on the character, with Reeves saying Batman is mostly stunned at being 10 years old because that's trauma you don't get past. Unlike previous Batman films, the Batman focuses on Batman's detective skills. Reeves describes it on almost nowhere-driven detective version of Batman. He said the film blended the detective action horror, thriller genres which he felt the comics than previous adaptations had. He also felt the approach made it the most frightening Batman film. Reeves looked to films and filmmakers like The French Connection, Eloped, Chinatown, and All the President's Men, and Taxi Driver. It was one of the works of Alfred Hitchcock. The film contains several hallucinations. Reeves also intended for the Joker to appearance to discover that Gotham's troubles would not end after the Riddler captured. The Riddler's murder of Coulson reminds to the death of Brian Wills. And this is your new cast for the movie. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Robert Pattinson, Nicholas Hoult, Armie Hammer, and Aaron Taylor Johnson were considered for the role of Batman, but yeah, but Reeves wrote the script with Pattinson in mind after seeing him in his performance in Good Time, which I probably should check that movie out. Now again, I don't care for him in Twilight. I didn't mind him in Water for Elephants, you know, but at first I didn't think it was a big deal. But Robert Pattinson likes to surprise me. Yeah, but Aaron Taylor Johnson, he did Kick Ass 1 and 2, which basically from Marvel, and so he was a Quicksilver in Marvel too. Armie Hammer, of course, was Lone Ranger. Thank God he didn't become Batman. Maybe he would be good, but he started as Lone Ranger, I thought. Yeah. And Nicholas Hoult, he played in those X Men movies. X Men Dark Phoenix came out and that flop, so thankfully, thankful he didn't become Batman. Patterson became interested in the role in advance and checking up on it. Longtime Batman fan, he had ideas about how to bring a unique portrayal of the relationship between Batman's superhero activities and identity as Bruce compared to previous films. Reeves spent hours reviewing Patterson and Holt's previous work before meeting with him in April 2019. Patterson wore Val Kilmer's Batsuit in Batman Forever during his screen test, along with the Zoe Kravitz. You know, he said that costume was old and stuff too, but it was cool that he wore it. Also, Christian Bale, I believe, also wore was it the Sonar suit? I think in his screen test for Batman Begins. Yeah, I think it was. The addition was challenging because the suit was small and difficult to move in. Patterson and Reeves found it. Of course, they do have a change. They had to change the suit. Patterson's casting was met with backlash from Batman fans, including me, I'll admit, calling to reverse the decision. Patterson said he found the response less versatile than he expected and felt that being an underdog meant he did not have, especially to me, his performance. Of course, Michael Keaton got backlash too for, Burton got backlash for, but hey, Keaton turned out great, and so did him, in my opinion. Christian Bale, who played Batman during Night Trilogy, supported Patterson, which is cool, encouraging him to make the role his own and ignore critics, which I'm glad he listened to his advice, by the way. And I still don't like Bale as Batman. Bale liking the fan resulted in the backlash that Heath Ledger experienced when he was cast as the Joker, but again, he was amazing in that movie. I don't care for the Dark Knight trilogy, I think he's overrated, but I do love Heath Ledger as the Joker. To prepare, Patterson studied Batman's history, including the span of the Golden Age of comics, the Tom King's 2016-2019 run on Batman. He trained with instructor Richard Malone, you know, martial arts, to undergo physical change in a similar way to superhero actors like Chris Hemsworth, Dwayne Johnson, Robert Downey Jr., and Chris Evans. He even received advice from Christopher Nolan about working on the film Tenet, because he was working on that movie all the time. I need to see that movie. Zoe Deschanel was cast as Catwoman in October, following a screen test with Patterson. She just eventually heard about the casting call and gave it a run. She probably didn't think, Zoe probably thought she didn't was not going to get the part, but she did. And the Reeves chose her over actresses Anna, I can't even say these names right. She was led to join the superhero after working on X Men First Class, but was a fan of the Catwoman character and felt connected to her emotionally. She felt that her honesty with Reeves, and this is better than X Men First Class, by the way, played a large part in her selection. Explain that, and she's got a lot more to do in here than she did in X Men First Class. She wanted Reeves to know what working with it, what to be like. She provided advice on how to develop Catwoman's character. Began training with instructor David Higgins 2 months before shooting. Well, she got to because apparently the film did get shut down because of COVID-19 happened at the time. So, they were all filming for 6 months. So she had to prepare to use the weapon training. She also studied footage of cats and lions, trying to develop her movements. practicing with stunt coordinator Robin Lazo. She drew inspiration from Year One and Michelle Pfeiffer's portrayal of Catwoman. Jeffrey Wright negotiates to portray Jim Gordon. It was confirmed to be cast the following month. He's also the first actor of color to portray Gordon in live action, but he did a great job. I basically just remember him in I See You. Yeah, I'll get to that later. Sorry. The third, the casting reflected how divided America has become since Batman's introduction in 1939. It's another Gordon's qualities require that he be white. Preparation to write Rick Batman comics, including The Long Halloween. He looked to Golden Age comics because he felt that he was along with Gordon from then to today, which inspired his performance. He also based on his performance when Eric Adams, a police officer, became the mayor of Gotham, New York City. The mayor of New York City. There is no Gotham City, Levi. It didn't exist. Just talking to myself, like a crazy person. But his work in the Muppet Shoes from Blade. Jonah Hill intentionally wanted to play the Riddler of the Penguin, but thank God he didn't get just that. Yeah, we would have think this been the Batman 60 show. But excited negotiations after a month, Justin Kroll swore that Hill wanted $10 million, one double the amount passed in return. Paul Dano was cast as the Riddler in October after Hill exited talks. To prepare, Dano researched serial killers and chose to read his material in public places since he found it disturbing and not to read alone. He used the Beach Boys founder Brian Wilson, who sadly passed away recently. I love the Beach Boys. Whom he portrayed in the 14 biopic Love and Mercy as the basis of the performance. It was also influenced by Nirvana's songs. Reeves wrote the Riddler's character while Dano with Cheryl Wilson in mind. Dano thought about the Riddler's motivation and sense of power. The character feels when wearing a mask, and worked with a mask expert to figure out how to approach the role costume. Reeves approached Andy Serkis regarding the role of Alfred during the post-production because he worked with him on Planet of the Apes. And he was eager to work with him again, so Serkis was cast in November 2018 as Alfred Pennyworth, Bruce Wayne, Batman's butler. So Bruce Wayne's butler. And Colin Farrell and John Travolta were cast as Penguin and Carmine Falcone. Farrell looked the god for the character for inspiration and worked with coach Jessica Trek to direct the Penguin's voice. Farrell collaborated with his child, Aaron, who is an editor at DC Comics. Reeves developed Falcone and his mannerisms. Character inspiration warnings from his father gave him about the mafia as a child growing up in New York City. Then you have Jamie Lawson, Peter Segar, cast in the movie, some other cast people too. Design. The design team began working on the Batcave and the Batmobile before the script was finished. Reeves had a clear vision of Batman would look like, another one to three to reflect each other. The Batcave was based on the train station beneath New York's Wardrobe Hotel. Reeves said that this was a root all these things and things to feel that way. The Batcave partial set, built on Warner Brothers Studio events, also serves as the foundation of the film's decation of Wayne Manor, which Reeves describes as decaying, representing Batman's uninterest in his family's wealth. The Gotham City Hall was built at the hangar, and Alfred, the hangar also soundproof and was set up for Daniel to record certain Riddler scenes. 8 blocks of Gotham were designed in Warner Bros. Studios. Livingston, Reeves, and production designer James Chavon envisioned a realistic Gotham City, and drew inspiration from locations like Chicago and Pittsburgh. Since the failed reveals of Gotham left unfinished, sorry, I'm not gonna read all that. The handmade design. Okay, Reeves envisioned a ground handmade design for the Batmobile. Reeves wanted the Batmobile to feel like a wild beast and move away from the tank-like design by Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, in favor of that one that looked like a muscle car. He looked to Stephen King's novel Christine, like the car that's possessed by supernatural forces. He liked the idea of the car itself as a horror figure, making an LSD appearance to really scare the hell out of the people Batman's pursuing. Reeves and Chilean wanted the Batmobile to feel like his own character. He used a stillbone for the frame, so Batman could push his way through any obstacle. He also has the roof of the 1969 Dodge Charger. He left the back since it did not require protection. 4 Batmobile units were built. Another unit was built on classes for indoor and night shots. But the Batsuit was designed by supervisor Dave Crossman, designed the signature Batsuit with 2 guiding instructions. It needed to look the part in light and dark while not distracting from Pattinson's emotion. Reeves and Pattinson wanted the suit to be practical and easy to move and fight in. Inspired by Batman Legends of the Dark Knight, Pattinson also asked Bell for advice during his design process. He's really advised to make sure you're going to be able to relieve yourself or in the suit. That means go to the bathroom. Which, yeah, I do always wonder how Batman after goes in the suit. If I ever meet one day, I'll ask him. The team took scans of Pattinson's body while he was filming Tenet, using reference to composite art by Dillon. They printed out a rough copy of each element. Reeves examined the final suit for approval. The team created over 20 suits for using in filming. The final suit was more flexible than bat suits. That passed and immediately started doing somersaults in it just because you could when you put the prototype on. Reeves wanted the bat suit to be Ultrian and make it Batman spare parts to create its own. It was like bulletproof, but details like bloodstains, necks, Ricochet's bullets were added. Batman's utility belt was changed from yellow to black, and the team felt it was more practical and realistic. And they belt contained material used by law enforcement such as handcuff holders, leather ammo. The cowl was presented after being sculpted by Disney. It was created from rubber, while it was stitched together by hand with never simple leather. The stitching around the forehead and the nose patches were influenced by Adam West's costume from the 60s Batman television series, added that he wanted Batman to feel like the Grim Reaper. It allowed Patterson to have more freedom to convey emotions through his eyes. The cape was created using Japanese leather. It was impractical to really use due to its light, and it transforms to a wingsuit. Batman's wingsuit was created by Seal. Batman's grapple gun, which can slide out a hidden contraption in his arm. The best on his chest also serves as a knife. Bruce Wayne has hair after like Kurt Cobain. Catwoman's costume was designed to lay a foundation for what will become her comic book outfit, like they took inspiration from Batman Year One. The facial prosthetics for Joker were designed by makeup artist Mike Morno. Dano also covered himself in plastic wrap since he felt the Riddler would take extreme precautions to avoid leaving DNA at crime scenes. To portray Penguin, Colin Farrell wore prosthetics in a fat suit created by Moreno. Yeah, and he was in like Danny DeVito in a makeup chair as well. Farrell fought to allow him to carry a cigar instead of cigarettes. Warner Brothers would not relent. I think they should. Filming began in January 2020 in London. Like I said, the film did after a year it was suspended by the COVID-19 pandemic. Industrial Light and Magic provided the stagecraft productions technology that Fraser helped develop on Disney's Star Wars series The Mandalorian. Reeves was also director and described the Batman as the most inherent narrative. He worked on the point. Patterson said Reeves asked for many retakes, and adjusting such an approach took some time. Curtis described Reeves as the most specific person and director I ever worked with. Reeves wanted to depart from the quick cutting scenes that produced Batman director film like Tim Burton and Nolan had shot. He wanted viewers to see what was happening. I mean, I saw what was happening in the Burton films. I mean, yeah, some of them could be quick shots a little bit, but still better than any fight scenes in the Nolan trilogy, which are a bunch of shaky cam. Impact of COVID-19, but I'm happy he said that though. Production was disturbed by COVID-19 though. They did have to get rid of shooting for a while. The production's coach, Andrew Jack, passed away of COVID-19. Editing. The editing for the Batman was challenging due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but they did edit the film. Yeah, for the music score, Michael Janko did the music score for the film. Sorry, folks, I'm not gonna sit here and read all this. Yeah, I think I'm done reading all this. Sorry. But that is the bit of the making of the movie, so yeah. So for the marketing, they did have test footage of Bart Patterson and the Batsuit. I do remember the picture and stuff like that. I remember seeing this for the movie. And I'll be honest, it's pretty cool. Though I was kind of like off about it. I was like, it looks cool, but I wonder about how the movie's going to be. But it was test version of Bart Patterson in his Batman costume. Footage was seen. Also for the marketing, I remember the trailers, TV spots for the movie. First, I didn't have no interest in the trailer, but I do remember the trailer, the Batman title, which does look really cool now. And even Little Caesars did something for the movie as well. Little Caesars had like a They had a Batman shaped, like kind of like a battering pizza. That looks really good, by the way. Yeah. So Little Caesars, had some boxes and stuff out for the movie. And I'm sure there were toys out for the characters and Batman himself. Yeah. But I think I remember that, yeah. Anyway, for the cast of the movie, yeah, Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne Batman. A billionaire who is facility protects Gotham City as a master vigilante to cope with his traumatic past. Yeah, I remember him like from the Twilight movies, Water for Elephants with Reese Witherspoon. I remember him in that. Tenet. I've seen that. Yeah, he's done quite a bit of movies, but he impressed me as Batman. And Zoe Kazan as Selena Kyle Catwoman, a nightclub waitress, drug dealer, and a cat burglar who meets Batman while searching for her missing roommate. Yeah, very beautiful actress, by the way. She was in that Virgin series of Fantastic Beast films, also as from First Class. I think her break was playing Angel. It wasn't her fault that that movie sucked. She was in After Earth with Will Smith and his son James. Alright, yeah, I've seen a bit of that movie. That movie sucked. Yeah. And she was in Blink Twice. Yeah, I've seen that movie. Oh, she directed that. Okay. She voiced Catwoman in the Lego Batman movie. I know that. Okay. Yeah. And Paul Dano is Edward Nashon, aka the Riddler, forensic accountant who's inspired by Batman to become a serial killer, terrorists lead Gotham citizens and live streams his crimes, and also leaves riddles and stuff. Paul Dano, I remember seeing him in, I think he was in Cowboys and Aliens. Uh, I remember in that with Daniel Craig and Harrison Ford. Yeah, okay, yeah, he was in that movie. 12 Years of A Slave, Wildlife, Guilty, The Batman, this movie, Spaceman, Dump Money. I think Jim Carrey didn't like his performance. Which again, that's Carrey's opinion, so. And I've heard different opinions on this movie. Some people like it, some people loved it, some people hated it. And Jeffrey Wright as James Jim Gordon, an ally of Batman and the Gotham Police, and and a GCPD officer. Well, he's a lieutenant. He's not commissioner at this point. He's the only GCPD officer who actually trusts him. But Jeffrey Wright, I remember my first time seeing him in a movie though was in let's see, detail. Well, I don't call it details. I call it I See You with Stallone. Yeah, I remember that's another rated movie. Also, the James Bond movie Casino Royale and No Time to Die and Quantum of Solace. Yeah, he played Felix Slider. Broken City. Yeah. And John Toretto's Carmine Falcone, a Gotham crime boss and Selena's father. I thought he did a great job. But he was in Exterminator 2. I know he's worked with Adam Sandler in a few things, a few movies. Do the Right Thing. Spike Lee movie. Jungle Fever. Fearless. He's been quite a bit of movies, but he's a good actor. Yeah, The Big Lebowski. Company Man. Mr. Deeds with Adam Sandler. Monkey Bone. Secret Window. Yeah, I remember that with Johnny Depp. And Anger Management. Yeah, he was also in that. Excuse me. You Don't Mess with the Zone. I remember him taking film 120 of 123. Transformers movies. He was in some of those. And Transformers Last Night. Yeah. But he's a good actor. Yeah. Or was like John Toretto. And Oh Brother, Well, where were they with George Clooney? Well, yeah, Clooney played Batman as well, and Batman and Robin, and Tim Blake Nelson. Yeah. Who, of course, I think went on to be in the Incredible Hulk, and I believe he was also this year. He was also in the Captain America. Ugh. He was also in Captain America: The Brave New World. Yeah. Which I still haven't watched yet. But I do get it on Disney Plus, though I need to. Curious Guard is Gil Coulson of Gotham's District Attorney. Well, I do remember him as Hector Heyman, as Hector, and Green Lantern from 2011, The Man in the Iron Mask. I like that movie. Ryan Reynolds to me. He was in Night and Day as well. The Magnificent Seven and the Batman as well. Andy Serkis, Pennyworth, Batman's butler and mentor. Though they have a strained relationship and rarely speak. Andy Serkis, people know for the roles like bunch of character roles like for Golem from Lord of the Rings trilogy, Golem, Caesar from the rebooted Planet of the Apes trilogy, working with Matt Reeves in those films, and as Snoke and Star Wars sequel trilogy like The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. He also directed a movie himself. He was also on Black Panther 2018 as You Saw His Claw, and he directed a movie, Venom Let There Be Carnage. He was also in King Kong. He played King Kong as well in 2005. Hugh Jackson's King Kong from 2005, which I believe turns 20 this year. Yeah, but good actor. I met Andy Serkis real. He was a nice guy. And he did say he liked Robert Press. He thought Robert was really good. And if I forget, but I told him I really like to see a sequel hopefully someday. If they ever do it, I've heard things about this movie that they're gonna make a sequel, and they cancel it, and they cancel it. Oh, it's not gonna happen. Colin Farrell as Oz the Penguin, Falcon's chief lieutenant who operates the Oxford Lounge, the nightclub where Selena works. Colin Farrell, good actor. I watched I previously revisited the Total Recall remake. That still sucks. I still don't like him in the movie, but I like him as Bullseye and Daredevil and the director. He's great in both parts. Uh, Saving Mr. Banks. I remember him in that. I haven't seen Horrible Bosses. He was also in Phone Booth. I think he also did a movie called The Recruiter with the Phone Booth. Phone Booth is really good. I want to watch that. That's a good film. I got that movie. He directed by the late Joel Schumacher, who also directed Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. Yeah. And SWAT, the first SWAT movie, the only SWAT movie I'll probably watch, which I do like. Yeah. Supporting cast members include Jamie Lawson as Bella Reeve, who's like gonna be the mayor of Gotham City. She was in Sinners. They came out this year. And Peter McDonald as William Kinsey. Luke Roberts and Stella Stalker as Bruce's parents, Thomas and Martha Wayne. Luke Roberts, let's see, he was in Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, Captain of the Guard. Okay, and that's every cast. So the film was also directed for the other crew that worked on the movie, directed by Matt Reeves and also written by him. I said he's made Dawn of the Planet of the Apes movies, Planet of the Apes films. Oh, he wrote Under Siege 2, Dark Territory? Yeah. Oh, he didn't direct Rise of the Apes. Okay, I was wrong on that one. He just directed Dawn. Okay. Sorry. My bad. He's wrote some TV shows as well, but he's a good director. Peter Craig also wrote the script for like movies like The Town. I think that was this movie that starred Ben Affleck and Top Gun Maverick. He worked on that as well. And Bad Boys for Life, 12 Strong, Gladiator 2, which I heard was not good. Characters from DC, also produced by Matt Reeves and Dylan Clark. Cinematography is by Greg Fraser, who I thought excellent cinematography on the film. His cinematography like Jew Boy, Out of the Blue, Bright Star, Zero Dark 30, Snow White and the Huntsman, Dune Part 2, and this film, and Rogue One, Star Wars story. Ended by William Hoy, who edited films like Star Trek 6, then Discovery Country, Patriot Games, with other editors about Outbreak from 1995, The Man in the Iron Mask, Madison, I, Robot, Fantastic Four: Rise of the Surfer, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, War for the Planet of the Apes, Extraction 2, and Superman. He's going to be working on that as well with James Gunn. Tyler Nelson, edited films like Creed 3. Let's see. Other credits include The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, The Social Network, Mindhunter TV series, music by Michael De Niro. And I think they did the musical for The Incredibles 1 and 2, and the Mission, several of Mission Impossible films, and some of the other MCU movies, and some video games as well. Let's see. Just looking. Production companies are Warner Brothers Pictures, DC Films, Six and Audio, Dylan Clark Productions, distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures. It was released March 4th, 2022. The film was 176 minutes long, about 2 hours and 56 minutes for the running time. The budget was estimated to be around 885 or 200 million. Estimated to be either 185 million dollars or 200 million dollars. But it did get back from its budget. It did make money. It was a huge hit at the box office, $772.3 million. It still made money though. It got positive reviews from critics. Who nominated? It was nominated 3 awards tonight. So I think critics liked it. It is well liked movie, but some people didn't like it. I've known some people who I've actually met in real life who do not like this movie. Some people I work with at Rooms to Go didn't like this film, and that's fine. To each his own. And if you hate the film, that's fine. All right. There will be spoilers in this review, so let's get to the plot synopsis. Yeah. So with the story of the film, like I said, it takes place, with only Bruce Wayne being Batman for 2 years. So this is a younger Batman that's not really fully a detective yet, but he's on his way to becoming the Batman you know. And it's not an origin story. We don't see him his parents die. Thank God I'm glad Matt Reeves. We didn't need that. We've seen plenty of that. I hated when Zack Snyder added that in Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice because you didn't need that. We know why Bruce became Batman. We don't need to see Batman's history again. You know, don't have to repeat it over and over again. But I did hear things for the sequel. Sorry I kept on mentioning that. But they did say things like they might have Mr. Freeze. I do like Arnold as Mr. Freeze, but we could use a darker version of Freeze. I agree. Mr. Freeze, they should. Dealing with his wife or core valves. Yeah. But I don't want to see Joker into another movie. I'm like, no. I don't get me wrong. I love the Joker as a villain, but give me other villains. Batman has other villains too. Anyway, so the plot synopsis of the movie, what the film is about, is that Batman ventures in Gotham City's underworld when a sadistic killer known as the Riddler leaves behind a trail of cryptic clues. He's killing politicians. He's killing these are very kind of huge successful people. These are like politicians in Gotham, uh, people in power in Gotham that are corrupt. Gotham is a very corrupt city, and the Riddler is proven to take that down. As like he wants to be like Batman, vengeance himself. He thinks he's serving his own brand of justice or vengeance, excuse me, like Batman, in his psychotic mind, because he is a psychopath. As the scale of the perpetrator's plans become clear, he must bring justice to the abuse of power and plagues that plagues Gotham City, along with working with Selena Kyle, Catwoman, and not being trusted by the police, but only be trusted by one cop, and that is Jim Gordon, played by Jeffrey Wright. They must find out what the Riddler is up to, so Batman has used his detective skills for the first time. And it is a detective story. You have to find out what he's up to. Yeah. And find out what he's up to. And Riddler has planned is very big and very dangerous. And he killed a lot of people in Gotham City. Could really destroy the city. So Batman has to find out what he's up to, along with the help of Catwoman, of Selena Kyle. And he has to stop him and save the city. And Batman in here, he's, all about vengeance and stuff. We'll get to that later. But he has to become like a beacon of hope, if you will, like Gotham City's Crusader. Yeah, as he learns that throughout the film, and that's the story for you. Now, if you've never seen the Batman, you've not watched this review, as I've said many times in my reviews, don't watch. Stop the video right now. Turn it off right now because there will be spoilers in this review. So if you've never seen the movie, yeah, yeah. So if you've never seen this film, do not watch it. Okay. I mean, don't watch the film. Don't watch this review. Turn the video off right now. There's spoilers in this review. You've been warned. All right, I'll talk about the movie. I'll reach some close real quick. I don't want 41 minutes in. I'm sorry, folks. But yeah. But the movie opens up with the story of the film opens up with the opening logo, Warner Brothers, DC, and I do love the title. It's the Batman, and you see somebody looking on goggles. I think it might be Riddler or Bruce. You hear the Ave Maria song playing. I think they play some of that song in the Hitman games too, but they play it in here as well. Where you see this guy like fighting with a sword, and then it opens up on Halloween night. Gotham City, you have Gotham City Mayor Don Mitchell Jr. He's just watching TV. He's debating with this woman. I forget her name, Bella Reeve. Bella, I forget her name. But they're having a conversation, a debate. You know, he's watching TV. Riddler's just standing behind him. Creepy motherfucker. You know, he's standing behind him, and Riddler, Riddler has his weapon, like attacks him in the head and beats him up. And after killing him, puts tape on his head. You know, tapes his face, and leaves a note for the Batman, like a card. Kind of like a birthday card for him, and a riddle message. And by this point, Bruce has operated. He's a billionaire, of course, but after his parents were killed, he became Batman. He's been operating for 2 years. I don't need to explain that. You already know why he's Batman. And Bruce has a third persona that's like of a drifter, where he's wearing, like a clothing tag, like a jacket with a hat on, and on, and riding a bike, but not wearing his Batman suit. As he's watching crime, and as night goes on, he narrates too. And I don't Robert Pattinson's voice for Batman, his narration. If it was Christian Bale, it would be so annoying to listen to, and I couldn't understand it. But I do understand. And probably you have criminals like the guy wearing a green pumpkin, a face, like a pumpkin on his head, but it's green, and gonna shoot at the guy, and then you see the criminals that are running when the bat signal goes off. It's not just a warning, it's just that's it's also a warning that fear is coming, that vengeance is coming. And since they know Batman will come, these criminals are scared of him. They want to run away. You have these punks who want to harass this guy. This guy doesn't. And one of these punks is like a new kid. Their gangs will like initiate him, so he's got to beat and kill this guy up, but he hesitates to do it. Yeah. And I like it when the criminals also looking at the show, like then you see Batman coming up, and you just hear the boots coming slowly, and then you see Batman himself coming up, and the guy like the punk says, "Who are you?" And then Batman like, beats him up with this vengeance, And the guy starts to attack Batman. Batman, again, there is no shaky cam in here. People say they can't see. I saw what's going on. Have you seen Batman Begins or The Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises? Those have some really shitty fight scenes. I've heard scenes around amazing, but I thought they were good fight scenes. Maybe a little close up of the camera, but Matt Reeves does a good job of making sure you can see it. And even Batman does get hit a little bit, yes. But guys, remember, he's only been Batman for 2 years, so he can be a little sloppy on fighting. Even in Batman Year One, when the animated movie, Batman kind of screws up doing something, like nearly trips. So he's not the Batman you really know yet that can handle good fights. But he fights these guys, he beats them up, And this one guy he grabs, like on his gauntlet, he like shocks the guy, which I thought was cool. But after beating the punks, the guy's like, "Please don't hurt me, please don't hurt me." And the kid, as he's Batman, just scares him. And I felt this fear. I mean, Robert Pattinson, I don't see that as Robert Pattinson. I saw that as Batman. And he runs away. This was a good intro for his Batman. Batman was up in the sky, sees the signal, knowing that Gordon needs him. Then Batman goes to the scene of the mayor's murder alongside Gotham City Police GCP Lieutenant Jim Gordon. At first, when the cops look at him, they see these cops don't like Batman, of course. At first, Gordon did not trust Batman, but over time, began to know that Batman was here for good and that he can be trusted. He knows the cops can be corrupted. He knows that, but he's not. So one cop touches Batman, or doesn't touch him, just like does this, like, no, Commissioner, this is a crime scene. He can't come in. He's a vigilante. He can't come in. He's like, Martinez let him go. I was like, okay, Lieutenant. And you're like, goddamn vigilante. You know, yeah. And they see the scene of the crime. He left a message for Batman. And then you have GCP Commissioner Peter P. Savage that gets mad at Gordon for allowing Batman into the crime scene. He's like, Gordon, what the hell? He's like, excuse me. He finds out what the riddle is. And he also, I liked it when Batman sees this kid. The kid, apparently that's the mayor's son. He's upset. He was looking at Batman. Batman looks at him. It's just the look on Batman's face, like Bruce knows that that was him. He sees himself because his parents were brutally murdered by a psychopath too, and that reminds him of his childhood trauma, of his childhood past. I like that scene. Yeah. But the commissioner says that the mayor's dead, and Bruce, going back to be the drifter, taking his bat suit off, goes home to the Batcave, on his bat cycle. That's what they call that. But people say, "Oh, who's emo?" Because he stays with the mask. He's got the, you see the dark mask, the dark raccoon-looking eyes. People say, "Oh, it's dark." Well, guys, it's he's emo. Well, Batman is pretty much emo when you think about it, guys, because he is a dark character. Batman is screwed up in the head. This isn't like going to be the Superman movie we're going to get this year where Superman's going to be left hard. No, this is Batman. He's just a normal guy in a suit who is not invincible. He doesn't have powers. As like Joe Schumacher comes out, says it when we got the making of Batman Forever, Joe Schumacher said it. So like Joe Schumacher said in an interview with Batman Forever that he doesn't have lasers that come out of his eyes. He's just a man. That's what he is. He's just a man, just a normal guy in a suit who's messed up in the head. He's got a few screws loose. Albert Austin was like, "Well, where have you been? Master Wayne. You need to be there being Bruce Wayne." He was like, "I don't care about that family wealth stuff." He's like, "Well, you need to keep up appearances." Bruce Wayne has to be seen too. And yeah, you don't see much of Bruce Wayne in this movie. I know people complain about that. But neither did you in Batman 89. That's because he's not comfortable in his own skin. Same thing here, but Bruce just doesn't care. To put it simple with his Batman, he's rather just go out every night as Batman. We do see him all as Batman, which is cool. And I do like that it's a detective story as well. Sorry, Ricky. We do get that in a little bit of Batman 9 and Batman Returns. Again, Batman is a character that remains in the shadows. This Batman does too, but he doesn't care about being Bruce Wayne. The only thing that matters to him is being Batman, and that's it. He doesn't give a crap. He even says, "I don't care." He doesn't care if he dies. He's willing to die to get revenge because when he's beating the criminals, as you see him brutally beating up criminals, it's like he's beating up the man that killed his parents. So for him, this is personal, and this is a mission to take criminals down and stop them from murdering innocent people. Well, it's a mission for him. Even Robert Pattinson said that in an interview. Shortly though after him and him and Bruce have that talk, and he's like, "Just leave me alone, Alfred. You're not my father." He's like, "I'm well aware of that, sir." But then Commissioner Savage eventually gets murdered next. Uh, he sees a video. The Riddler plays these videos, and when the Riddler does these videos, it's creepy. I like the way the Riddler looks. I like the costume. I know some people didn't. To each his own, but I liked it. A great job. It's a different thing. This is not Jim Carrey's version. This is not Frank Gorshin. Again, Jim Carrey did take some inspiration from Frank Gorshin, but they go with darker in Riddler in here. You know, yes, you can say you have a dark version in Batman animated series as well, but this in Gotham, I like the Riddler suit as well. But here is a much different version. He sends a video of death to the Gotham News media, which is pretty creepy to watch. You know, there are moments where he'll just joke and Riddler talk, and the voice is creepy when he yells. He's crazy. And Batman and Gordon going to Michelle's car, the mayor's car, find out there's a thumb drive in there. But he continues to imagine a Michelle with a woman named Anika, who works at the ice cream. He's like, "Wait a minute, that's the Oswald. How about that's the Penguin?" He's like, "Well, then I got to question Penguin about it." That's a clever by Mobster Carmine Falcone, who's like the lead. Carmine Falcone was like the big crime boss of Gotham City. He has been for a long time. And Bruce knows him too because uh, his father, Thomas Wayne, who was a teacher, not a teacher, fuck's sake, a doctor, actually saved Falcone's life when Falcone was, in his younger days. Not like more like a lieutenant in the mafia, not the big boss yet, but Falcone got shot, and they took him to Wayne Manor. Thomas Wayne patched him up and saved his life. You know, Batman goes to the club. He's like, "No, I am." He's like, "No, we don't know you are a freak." And the twins open the door. He's like, "We're gonna about to knock you down." Batman's like, "Which side of your face am I gonna hit first?" And then they try to attack Batman. Batman knocks him out, which is cool, I thought. And more guys try to attack Batman. Batman fights back. He does get hit a little bit, but Batman, pretty good, awesome action scenes there fighting. He picks up this weapon, kind of like a stool, not a stool, but like a crowbar almost. Fights a guy with a crowbar. Guy's gonna shoot him. Batman just hits him with the crowbar. Gets the grapple gun, shoots the guy with it, like knocks him out. And then Penguin's like, "Oh!" Penguin's like, "Whoa, calm down, sweetheart." Batman's like, "Calm down, sweetheart. I'm Ozzy." You know, he does question the Penguin about the girl. Like, "Yeah, I knew the girl, but I don't know nothing." And then he sees Selena Kyle walk in. That's her roommate and girlfriend. I don't think like girlfriend like that. I don't think. Even though she's lesbian, I don't think they felt like they hinted at that. I mean, I did when she said calls her honey or baby. But I'm like, yeah, great, that'll make her lesbian. Well, I don't think not really. Because her and Batman do have an attraction to each other later on. Batman just looks and even as they burn Audrey was like, "Well, if you need any help, just let me know." But he's willing to help him for another reason. But Penguin has his own agenda in here. Um, I still haven't seen the Penguin show yet with Colin Firth. The Penguin, yeah, I still haven't seen that. I want to though. But when Batman like attacks him, like tries to question him, he sees Selena staring, and he looks at the girl in the picture, and he sees the same shoes that she's wearing. So he follows Selena. People can say it's creepy, but as the director, he's like watching her change and stuff. No, we don't see her nude, but he follows her, and he follows her to Michelle's house, the mayor's house. They have a brief scuffle. He's like, "You're good at that." And they fight a bit. Some guys are gonna show up, but Batman grabs her just to keep her quiet. Then they discover her passport in a safe when she disappeared, and Batman convinces her to help him. She takes her back to the apartment. Is like, "You have a lot of cats." They watch something on TV news about Riddler, but Batman has to know all these high-ranking members of Gotham who's involved in this. You know, these answers. He's not like what do you call it when you put it in your eye? What's that kind of? Oh, it's not an eye patch. It's like eye contacts, but eye contacts with like cameras to them, so she can see she's talking to she. Lucina goes in the club. She talks to the district attorney of Gotham City, played by Peter Sagal. One girl runs her mouth about Akina, about her girlfriend, her friend. She goes to question her. Then Penguin, she's like, "That's my girl." Like, you didn't tell me you had a relationship. I don't have a relationship with him. I didn't tell you why. You know, unless there'll be spoilers in this review, by the way. It's Gil Coulson, by the way. Baron person, he's like, "Oh, don't turn off." And Coulson, Pierce Scar tries to flirt with her to come home with him, and she's like, no, she goes in taxi. And Coulson gets in his car, then the Riddler's behind him, and the Riddler, like, doesn't kill him, knocks him out. You know, he straps a time bomb to his neck. Then they have a funeral. This is where you see Bruce Wayne go up for the first time. I was like, "Bruce, you going out public?" He's like, he gives him his cufflinks, like, "Where do you going now, too, Alfred?" Something like that. But he gives him his cufflinks. He drives his car. This is Bruce Wayne, and he doesn't smile at people very much. And the lady that wants to be married, she wants to talk to his help, but Bruce has been avoiding her. Then he sees that kid again, knowing that's still the kid that he sees within himself. That he was that kid once. Yeah, still haunts him. Then all of a sudden you hear these loud noise. DA Coulson drives his car through the funeral, and of course Bruce has to put on his bat suit because it's like for the Batman, because Coulson gets out. Jeffrey Wright, Gordon's like, you know, and people they say, hey, it's Bruce Wayne, hey, it's Bruce Wayne, but he doesn't even talk to them. Which I'm like, they're saying, oh, we were seeing him, wow, it was a Batman, but Bruce Wayne just acts very quiet and suspiciously. Well, I wonder if he's Batman. But eventually, through time, Bruce will, you know, play the billionaire playboy, you know, persona, usually using Bruce Wayne as a disguise as well. But Batman arrives, and you get that scene where he's trying to get answers from Coulson. Riddler's like, I'll play a little game with you. So he's like, Coulson freaks out, like, get me out of here, this freak is gonna get me killed. And the cop's like, why is he going in there? He's gonna get us killed. I guess the guy who takes over for Commissioner, well, the police chief, says, why is he in there, Gordon? And the cops are not too happy about that. Coulson's like, get me out of this freak is gonna get me killed. And Riddler's like, shut up, shut up. And he makes him answer these three riddles. Batman helps him with the first one. It's Justice. Helps first two and refuses to answer the third, which is the rat. Who was the GC informant that led the drug bust ending Salvatore Maroni's operation? So the riddle blows him up. People say, yeah, I agree it is unrealistic. Batman's like standing right next to him. So I told him, like, who it is? Who's the rat? Who's the rat? And people's like, Riddler's like, 5, 4, 3, 2, bang, blows up. And Batman's like standing right to Coulson, like, as close as him. Bomb goes off. And Batman just survives it. Gets up at the police station, gets the police just took to the station. He doesn't get arrested. They film interrogation room. They're about to want to take his mask off. Batman fights them off. Kind of wrestles with the cops. Yeah. And like, this vigilante's a freak. We shouldn't trust him. He's not one of us. He's not a cop. He's not a police officer. He's just getting in the way of our jobs. And Gordon has to calm down. He's like, all right, you need to find out what you need to find out. And he tells Batman, no, not Batman. Punches him, but not too hard. And he runs from the cops. He uses the grapple gun to go up to all the way to the stairs. Big ass staircase. Bunch of like stairs building you've ever seen there, especially in the GCPD. Damn. But Batman goes up there. Yes, he doesn't fly. He uses the grapple gun. So it'll grab on something so he can just fly it up there. Then it's where he's got that suit where he goes on top of the building. Police about to grab him. He jumps down. Yeah. Which is really cool. And then he hits a bus and hits a car and that's before Batman just gets hurt. But yeah, if it was real life though, I'm like, I don't know why he used the word realistic. I'm talking about what's his name, the director of this film, Matt Reeves. That's not realistic because realistically, if Batman fell off a building, I don't care what kind of gear he's got on, what kind of suit he's got on, he would have broken every bone in his body. And if you're standing next to an explosion right next to your face, and you're close to a bomb, you're probably gonna die, and your face is gonna be half skeleton. But afterwards, he meets him on the roof where they put the bat signal on. So they do say they inform him maybe the Penguin and track him to a drug deal. That it could be Penguin, that it could be the Rat, and Gordon's like, "Well, you sure it's not me? No, Gordon, it's not you because you're not corrupt. You're a good cop." And Batman knows that. So they track him to the drug deal. It's raining. Batman's looking at it like, apparently the Maroni's scandal, the bus was not that big of a deal. Well, it could have been set up. But he also sees Catwoman there, Selina. She steals the money. She uses, a whip to grab a guy out and knock one out. Batman scares her, is like, you here? And then eventually the Penguin and his crew start seeing them and they start shooting at him. Gordon comes up too. Oh my God, oh, come on. But I also like the moment where Penguin, ugh, stupid phone, punches fucking phone. Sorry, I'm impatient with technology. But anyway, Batman drives in the Batmobile, and I like the sound of it, and Penguin is working and getting in his car, and a cool chase ensues. Batman gets close to him. I love the way the Batmobile looks in this film. Sorry. My phone just kind of froze up. Shit, phone, come on. Anyway, during the chase, though, the Penguin does take a few shots at Batman. Of course, it didn't affect the Batmobile. Him and Batman are just kind of like chasing each other down, kind of like Fast and Furious, like the racing. But Penguin, is able to get away. Well, doesn't get away. Doesn't get away. No, thinks he does. That he causes a wreck between these two trucks. Like, move, move out of the way. He's like, oh, you crazy psychopath. You know, causes this wreck, these trucks, and an explosion on the road. Thinking he's in over. I was like, yeah, you psychopath. I'm done with you. And then eventually Batman car is able to like make a jump. Yeah, Penguin's car wrecks, and Batman walks to him, which is a cool moment. Looks down, grabs him, starts questioning him. They also discover Murray's operation never actually ended, and many GCP officers are corrupted or involved in it. Uh, but they're asking Penguin, he's like, "What's this? Bad cop? Good cop, bad shit cop?" He's like, "No, I'm not a rat. I don't know for him. Think Carmine if I come to kill him. I'm very loyal to him." Actually, he's not really loyal to him because Penguin's actually planning to overthrow him. Yeah. Like you've seen the TV show Gotham, Penguin is very charming, but also a very sadistic psychopath himself. But just not like the Riddler. It's like, who's this Riddler guy? And nobody to me, like, I'm not a rat. And Batman does realize that Penguin is no rat. I mean, he's a sneaky little bird, but he's not a rat. You know, a sneaky bird, a cunning bird, but he's no rat. No. But Penguin's not that stupid enough to get himself killed. Because he knows not to cross Falcone. But anyway, they search on the computer, URL, and Penguin's like, you crazy sons of bitches, you can leave me. So they just leave him there in the middle of nowhere. Well, they put a mask on him so he can't see nothing. They go to this orphanage, which they see somebody there, but they see this orphans there. They see this video playing of Thomas Wayne, of Thomas and Martha Wayne. They also learn that his mother, that the Waynes and the Arkhams, they're the one that started up Gotham City. They're like the founders of Gotham City. That Martha was sent to that her mother got killed or something like that. A little history with her there. That's the one. The Riddler was a resident there at the orphanage and holds a grudge against Thomas, as though he's dead. He has decided to target Bruce. And Bruce tries to call Alfred in the Batmobile, but Alfred doesn't pick up because it's too late. Well, this is not to the Batman. Sees the sign. Alfred sees it. I'm surprised the bomb just didn't explode right there, but Alfred just looks slowly, sees the bomb, throws it. He calls his, I guess that's their assistant or whatever, assistant, and she tells him that no, he didn't make it. But Bruce, he ends up in the hospital. He's like, I'm the only family he's got. I'm all he's got. And he is upset by this, but he's got to continue on trying to find the Riddler, stop him. But then it is also revealed that Selina is, because he tried to talk to Selina, and she's like, Why do you want Falcone so much? What is your problem with him? Because they go to talk on the where the Batstone was at on the roof. They talk. He's like, "Well, honey, you can help me out," and they start to fall for each other. They share a kiss. Not by them being in love, but by them having that chemistry. Yeah. But she reveals that Falcone's her father, that he neglected her. Her mother was Maria Gale, and his father was also Thomas Wayne was also running for mayor. Apparently, his mother had. So he goes to the club this time, but as just Bruce Wayne. And of course, it gets him in this time because he's Bruce Wayne. So him and Falcone talks. Falcone told him that after that incident happened with him getting shot nearly, and like I said, I already mentioned that his father, Thomas Wayne, saved him. And when we went to the mayor's funeral, he also mentioned it when Bruce got a little too close to him. But him and Bruce go to talk. You know, Bruce comes to talk to him, tells him that he tried to blackmail the guy or convince him, but the guy wouldn't listen. So he talked to Falcone, that he hired Falcone to kill the journalist for sending real embarrassing details about Martha's mental illness. So he's like, Bruce is like wondering his identity. And he's like, what am I doing? Vengeance for nothing? I'm trying for nothing? So my father was a killer himself? What? Because he believed that his father was an upstanding man. He confronts Alfred eventually. Alfred, at the hospital, he's like, I raised you to be a boy. I didn't raise you to be a son. I taught you to fight. But what you needed was a father figure, and I should have been that for you, Bruce. I'm sorry. He's like, your father loved you. Your father was a good man. Alfred does confirm that Thomas asked Falcone to intimidate the journalist, but that's it. But decided to turn Falcone to the police after learning of the murder. Tells him that, your father was a good man. All he wanted to do with him, he wanted the man threatened, scared, to leave y'all alone. But he had no idea. But it was a bad mistake because Falcone eventually murdered that journalist. And after Thomas found that out, that night, when they went to the theater the next night, Thomas and Martha were shot and killed, and never knew Falcone did it. But I'm betting it was Joe Jill, you know, like it wasn't Batman Begins, but yeah, you just had to know it had to do with a mob. Mm. But also, it couldn't have been a random murder. Yeah, of course not. Yeah. Eventually, Selena's able to find the cop or the guy that's it. Got her friend killed. She shows him this message. She beating up the guy, almost killing him. They learn that Batman Gordon told him that Falcone strangled Akina after Mitchell told her that he was the informant. You know, but he's like, "Don't ruin your life." He's like, "Honey, I got 9 of them," and she like kicks him on. Casey almost kills him. He chases after her to stop her from killing. But they say we can end all this if we just get Falcone. Yeah, but she wants to kill him in revenge for her mother. Uh, at first, Bruce is doing his identity as the Drifter, so he has to run back upstairs, get his suit on. He punches the guy with right as his Drifter, wearing his jacket, puts his bat suit on. She's close to like shoot him, and she's like, he stops. She's like, "No, Selena, don't do this. It's not worth it." And he's eventually able to stop her, and then Falcone gets arrested. She's like, "Hello, father," close to killing him. But Falcone Live's like, "I'll be out here soon. You vigilante. I'll be out here soon." Laughing at Batman, laughing at Corn's like, "I know my rights." They read him his Miranda rights, and he's like, "I'll be out here soon when I'm walking." He's like, "Well, it's about time, you sick freak." He's like, "You're going to freak. Oz, you're just a freak. You never meant nothing to me. You're trash." He's like, "You piece." And Oz is about to shoot him, but the Riddler like snipes him from his apartment actually, and Batman says, "Bring him into the light." It was a Riddle from earlier. Now Batman knows what the riddle means, and they look, in the Riddler's apartment. They found out that this guy's the Riddler. They see that he's been up in front the whole time. They get information that he's at a coffee shop drinking some coffee with the Riddle on it. Every action, they say Freeze is like, well, I was going to order some donuts, and the cops arrest him, tap him down the ground. He smiles at Batman. But eventually, he lets them arrest him. And his plan is his name is Everett Nash, and like I said, plan to expose Gotham's hidden corruption for years before asking Batman to visit him in Arkham. And he felt bad for Bruce Wayne. Was like, Bruce Wayne, Bruce Wayne, Bruce Wayne. I felt sorry for you. We were together. I fight for justice too. It's like Batman's like, no, you're goddamn insane. You're a psychopath. You're a murderer. I'm neither of that. Yeah. But Batman's like, no. Then he reveals that he's planned numerous car bombs around Gotham City. That they would destroy Gotham's seawall and then flood the city. And Batman's like almost punching that. Like I said, the scene where he questions the Riddler, Edward Nashon, where he's gonna punch that mirror. He's like, what is it? What did you do? You know, he's like, and then Riddler's like, Alta Maria, like about it. He's like, the city will go kaboom, you know. And he found out that he made one last riddle that he's just talking his normal Edward Nashon voice, telling him what was going to do. So the mayor, like Bel Rio, the chaos is like Gotham Garden. Uh, Catwoman, after her father was shot, after Falcone was shot dead, she just escaped. The city's flooding. They go to the Gotham Garden, and then the Riddler has his followers dressed up as him. Gonna they nearly kill the mayor. They start shooting at the GCPD. Batman shows up, fights some of them off, but they're ganging up on him. So Selina decides to help him. He's over the cliff. Yeah, about to get killed. Like I said, Batman does get knocked out a bit because again he's doesn't have the experience as a fighter yet. So he does get a few hits in here. He gets a few big hits. They manage to stop them though. And then all the water comes in. These people need to get electricity. Batman nearly, has the knife in his chest and is able to cut the rope. These people get cut. And they get himself hurt, but sees the survivors, use this red flare, use the red flare, gets them out, and gets everyone to safety. And Bruce realizes that it's not about vengeance. The past is the past. Can't do nothing about it. And he learns that he should just be a beacon of hope. Beacon of hope. Sorry, can I speak? But the Riddler's defeated. They won. They beat him. This person like looks at Batman and saying thank you. Batman's like doesn't really smile at her, but anyway, realizing that he needs to be the beacon of hope for the city. Uh, Selena Ross leave Gotham. Batman believes that the city can be saved, but she doesn't. She's like, it can't be saved. Just come with me, honey. We can be together. You know, but he says no. They driving their they're two motorcycles. They're driving their motorcycles, but they drift apart. And then Penguin overlooks Gotham, and he's smiling as he's planning to take over. Even though it's a power struggle, Gotham City is still somewhat corrupt. And the truth is that, yeah, when they unmask the truth this way, it is corrupt city, and Batman and Gordon intend to stop this, to save the city, as he wants to become the kingpin of Gotham. But the only one problem he has is Batman, of course. Nashing gets smashed by a fellow inmate, which is, of course, a cameo from the Joker. The two of them share a laugh at the end, and that's lets me see the Riddler. She's going to go to Bloodhaven, which eventually will become. This is before he meets Dick Grayson, but Dick Grayson will become who is the acrobat in the circus. His parents get killed. Uh, Bruce adopts him. He becomes Robin. Then he goes on to leaves Batman to become Nightwing, and then goes to be on Bloodhaven. But they leave separate ways, and then Batman just takes off in his bike, just looking at the camera, and then the movie ends there, and that's the Batman. Maybe I'll read some quotes really quick, guys, just real quick. Yes, I know the movie is that long. Thursday, October 31st. The city streets are crowded for the holiday, even with the rain, hidden in the chaos and the element, waiting to strike us like snakes. But I'm here too, watching. 2 years of nights that have turned me into an animal. I must choose my heart carefully. It's a big city. I can't be rude. But they don't know where I am. We have a signal now for when I'm needed. But when that light sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning for them. Fear is a tool. I think I'm hiding in the shadows, but I'm not. I'm vengeance. The whole city is a powder keg, and Riddler's the match. God, I never thought I'd feel fear like that again. I thought I'd be mastered all of that. I'm not afraid to die, but I realize now there's something I haven't got past. The fear of ever going through any of that again, looking out for losing somebody I care about. Come on, bitches. Let's go inside. Give some making some girl. Hello, people got from. This is the Riddler speaking. On Halloween night, I killed your mayor because he was not who he pretended to be. But I am not done. Here's another who will soon be losing face. I will kill him again and again till our day of judgment, when the truth about our city will finally be unmasked. The Waynes and Arkhams, yeah. His father saved my life. I got shot in the chest, right here. I couldn't go to the hospital, so we showed up on his doorstep, already not on the dining table. Here, he saw the whole thing upstairs, looking down. I remember your face. You don't think that meant something he did there? It means he took the hypocrite oath. Look at oath. That's good. I told you I'd see you in hell. What did you want from me? Want? I only want to know how long I've been waiting for this day, for this moment. I've been visible my whole life. I guess I won't be no more, will I? They'll remember me now. They'll remember both of us. Bruce Wayne. You know I was there that day. The day that Thomas Wayne was announced he was running for mayor. Mayor of the promises. A week later, he was dead and everyone just forgot about us. All they could talk about was poor Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, the orphan. Living in some tower over the park isn't being orphan. Looking down on everyone with all your money. Don't you tell me. Do you know what an orphan is? It's 30 kids to a room, 12-year-old, and already dropped dead, never in the pain. You wake up screaming with rats chewing your fingers. And ever wonder one of the babies dies because it's so cold. But oh no, let's talk about the billionaire, the lying dead daddy, because at least a lot of money makes it go down easy, doesn't it, Bruce Wayne? He's the only one who didn't get it, but we got the rest of them, didn't we? Why did you write me? What do you mean, all those words? I told you we've been doing this together. You're part of this. We didn't do anything together. We did. I just, asked you to bring him to the light, and you did. We're such a great team. We're not a team. I never gotten out of there. I'm not physical. My strength is up here. I mean, I have the pieces now, the answers, but I didn't know how to make them listen. You gave me that. I gave you nothing. You showed me what was possible. You showed me all the stages of fear and little focus of violence. You inspired me. You're out of your goddamn mind. What? That's all in your head. You're sick, twisted. How can you say that? You think of your psychopath. No. Begging for attention, you're gonna die alone. No. Nobody. But some good dialogue. Some good dialogue there. Alright, guys. So let me get a final opinion on the Batman really quick. Yes, I'm about to be done. I know it's a long video. I'm sorry. No. Anyway, I love this movie. This was a really great film. I do think it's better than the Nolan films. In my opinion, I do think it's better than a lot of the DCU movies. A lot better than those. It's better than Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Uh, I like Man of Steel just as much as I like this, but that's just me. Um, it's better than Justice League 2017 version. Yeah, this is long, but not as long as the Zack Snyder Justice League film, because that film's like in what, 7 parts. Yeah, that was the 4-hour movie. This is only like 2 hours and 56 minutes. It is long though, but the film has a really good story. I like the aesthetic story. I like that we see Batman younger, that he's becoming on his way to becoming Batman. Um, yeah, and I do Batman reviews on my other channel. Guys, go check those out too. I will add this to my Batman marathon reviews. Sorry, just wanted to mention that. If you want to see how much of a big Batman fan I am, of course I love Batman. I was a fan of the character. It's a really entertaining movie. A lot of good action in there. Matt Reeves did a good job directing and writing. I thought the story was good. I like the whole that's a detective story he's trying to find out. I like that they added the Riddler. Yeah, and the Riddler looks awesome. It looks a lot better than Bane did in Dark Knight Rises, where he talks like Sean Connery looks like a Mexican wrestler. But in here, he looks like a Zodiac killer, and the Riddler is crazy in here. I like how insane he was. He's scary, intimidating. Batman is too. Batman, just when he comes out of the shadows, when you look at those shadows, you know it's him coming. It's frightening to me, at least. Yeah, and the film first opens up on Halloween night, and you feel that fear, the atmosphere of the movie. I love the atmosphere. I love the way the film is shot. First of all, the action is well shot, I think. Some people didn't say, I'm like, no, I disagree. Watch Batman Begins. Batman Begins, the action is, you know, this fast. I'm sorry. Sorry, webcam. But yeah, the action is that quick in Batman Begins. But here, this film is like backed up from the camera. Sorry. Yeah, it's like backed up where you can see the fight scenes. Yeah. But the editors, I thought the people who edited this movie that had the fight scenes did a real good job. I saw it perfectly. Yes, I like that Batman. He just wants to be Batman at first. Bruce just doesn't care about if he dies. But at the end, he learns to be a beacon of hope. So he learns a lesson at the end of the movie that he can be a beacon of hope and be the Cape Crusader of the movie. You know, more like Gotham Savior in a way. You know, be there to stop the criminals and stuff and save the city and take that corruption away from Gotham. But the writing and the directing by Matt Reeves was real good. Cinematography's nice. The editing's good. The music score, you know, da 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 da. And the soundtrack is really good too. Michael Giacchino's score is real good. The film is well shot. It's a beautifully shot movie. I love the cinematography of the film. I love the atmosphere of it. I love the way Gotham City looks. I love the way Batcave. The Batmobile is awesome. You get to see a lot of Batman in this movie. It's a good I love that it's a detective story. And that yes, it is a Batman movie. For one, you do see Batman more here than in the Dark Knight trilogy. And Batman Returns. Yeah, I love those movies. Don't get me wrong, they're classics. But for me, this is story wise, this film had a good story, just like Batman vs. the Phantasm. Batman 89, Batman Returns, they did have some detective work in it, like with Batman figuring out about Joker's poison and figuring about Penguin's past, you know, learning about him a bit, or Batman Forever discovering the riddles. You don't get much too much detective work in Batman. Batman Begins about the drugs, but that wasn't all interesting what they did with the villains, you know, in those movies. Here's a different take on Riddler, but I did like it though. It's not the usual Riddler we know, but I did like the Riddler here, so I'm not complaining. I can see Matt Reeves where he was going with it. You know, he was trying to get away from that Frank Gorshin, Jim Carrey version of the Riddler in live action, which we've had before. Yeah, I cannot see Paul Daniels with pink hair, you know, with the same hairdo. Don't get me wrong, I love Jim Carrey as the Riddler, but I love seeing this darker version of the Riddler. You know, hopefully we'll get one of Mr. Freeze as well. I love Arnold as Mr. Freeze in Batman and Robin. Yes, I like him in that movie. Sue me. But this was, you know, but we need a darker version of him. And I do think the problems. Okay, the movie is way too long. You didn't need to be 256 minutes, but they probably got that from Avengers Endgame. Let's make it over 3 hours. You don't need to make every comic book film over 2 hours long. Like I said, even though Andy Serkis directed Venom with the Carnage, I hate that movie, but at least it was short. It was a really short movie. You don't need to make it too long. Okay, like the club, you didn't need to go to the club a whole bunch of times. Yeah, they go there a few times in the movie. You could have trimmed some of the movie down, you know. And I'm not complaining about the Penguin and screen time. A lot of people complain about. I know Catwoman says that line about man white privilege, but I was fine with that. Some people hated that, but hey, I was fine with it, you know. And I do think Zoe Kadavas, very beautiful woman, she was great as Selena Kyle. She was a lot better than Anne Hathaway, who was, in my opinion, the worst Catwoman ever. Yes, I don't like that actress. I never liked Anne Hathaway at all. I can't stand her. I've seen interviews with her. She comes off as a bitch. You know, I'm not saying she is, but it's the way she was coming off in some interviews. But I never met a person, so I can't really call her that. Forgive me. But I never liked her as Catwoman. I hated The Dark Knight Rises. Christian Bale, I think he was better than Christian Bale. He's more intimidating as Batman. I can see him being, you know, if he would continue on making more movies as Batman, which I hope they do. I want to see the Batman Part 2. I think this is better than The Dark Knight, actually. Even The Dark Knight itself. Dark Knight, the most amazing thing about that movie was the Joker. It was more of a Joker movie. This is more was more like a Batman movie, you know. But it had a really good story. It's a detective story. The Dark Knight was not a detective story. It was more about you didn't really see Batman much, and when you did, Batman hardly ever does anything. You know, he does a lot more. Got a lot more to do in this movie, and we see him in the suit a bit of times. You know, yeah. And we got a detective story, which Batman is the world's greatest detective. He's a detective. That's what we want to see. You know, so I do love Batman '89, Batman Returns, Batman Forever. This was, I would say, better than that. Well, no, I would say those. Our greatest Robert Pattinson did a great job. He's one of my favorite Batmans. I put him up there with Adam West, Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, and Kevin Conroy as being a great Batman. But like I said, the movie is way too long. They could have shortened it down a bit. I was going to say something else, but I kind of forgetting about it in a moment. But still, despite the running time of the movie, it is a really good movie. And if you're able to follow the investigation, Batman's story, as the story goes along, it gets more interesting as you go along. Going with it, they just could have, I think, toned it down. But you could have made the film long if you would have saved it for a part three, for a third or fourth movie. They would have been able to continue. And this film was a hit at the box office. It made money, and it's estimated either 185 or 200 million dollars. It made 772.3 million dollars worldwide, so it was a hit at the box office. Yeah, but great movie in my opinion. It's okay, dude. Sorry, talking to my dog. Not to the door, he can't understand me. But anyway, guys, I better finish here, guys. So my rating, guys, for the Batman. Since I do think the film was way too long and they could have shortened it, that's my big problem with it. But I do think the rest of it is still well made. Just the running time, just trim it down a bit, you know. Other than that, my rating for the Batman is 4 to 5 stars and a thumbs up. So, guys, tell me what you think about the Batman, created by Matt Reeves and starring Robert Pattinson. What do you think of this film in your opinion? What are some of your favorite Batman films and your least favorites? How would you rank the Batman movies? And yeah, just let me know what some of your favorite Batman films are. What are some of your How would you rank the Batman actors in your opinion? What are some of your favorite actors to play Batman or voice Batman? And what do you think of the character as a whole in your opinion? And which Batman version is your favorite? The Reeves version, the Nolan version, the Burton version, the Dozier version? I'm talking about the 60 show and the Schumacher version. Tell me guys in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for the next 2022 review. This is probably going to be a rant coming up. This one was a lot shorter, about 104 minutes. But next will be another Sony Spider-Man film that is the third movie, I believe, Morbius, starring Jared Leto. Yay! Says looks forward to watching this. I look forward to watching this film. So stay tuned for the rank coming up next. Oh boy, here we go again. So, yep, Morpheus is my next review. So stay tuned for this. Morpheus next. And guys, my rank for Batman once again is 4 to 5 stars. 4 to 5 stars. And a thumbs up. Tell me what you think about the movie down below, guys. And stay tuned for the next review. That will be Morpheus, starring Jared Leto. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Bye.